Hey guys, how's it going? RedMaster here, and welcome back to another Cards and Castles video. Now, today we're going to be doing something a bit different. I've had this channel for a while, and one of the common requests that I get for, videos is that of beginner decks. Helping those of you who may be pretty new to the game and have stumbled upon the channel here, helping you guys, make the best possible decks so you can work your way up through the rankings and whatnot. However, me personally, not really the strongest when it comes to the beginning. I mean, I was a beginner long ago, but of course that time has passed. So I figured for this video, I get some additional help to assist me in building some decks that everyone can afford at home, whether you're a beginner or an experienced veteran. Hopefully these decks will help you climb through some of the lower rankings. And yeah, I feel like I had more, but my English kind of stopped there. So, with that being said, I'll introduce the guests. Joining me is Jump and Vesevan. How you guys doing?
Good. Yeah, we've, for this video, made 3 different decks, one for each of us. And the rule was that we couldn't have any epic or legendary cards in the decks. So everyone should be able to craft these decks very soon after they start the game, and they should be quite competitive and be able to bring you to high ranks.
Exactly. So that is the goal of these 2 decks, and with that being said, before we showcase the decks to you, we're going to give a quick disclaimer here that these won't be full breakdowns of every individual deck, considering that we do want to make this video somewhat watchable and not about 2 hours long. So with that being said, I'll leave a link somewhere. We're going to try and figure out later where we're going to post some full breakdowns for the decks that you're about to see. So if you guys want to learn more about these decks and get better insight as to how to play them, you can of course check those full breakdowns out. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the decks and show you guys what we're working with. Alright guys, so here is the first deck of this video, of course, the Viking Pirate that I'm going to be piloting in this video here. And like I said, we're not doing full breakdowns of this deck, those you can read in the description down below, but to quickly make some points as to the important factors or the more the points that make this deck stand out are obviously going to be the Freezing Pillar that provides you with some effective setup, some Temple of the Five Gods to create chain potential for all of your units, and Swordsman because he's big, scary, and Cleave is one hell of an ability. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the next deck.
Alright guys, for my deck I'm running a Pirate Crusaders, and I focused a little bit more, it's a little bit more creature heavy. The first card I want to highlight is Rat Infested Hovel. I think probably all of us are, interested in that card. It's just a great unit maker that works really well. The next card that I want to highlight is Knight of Flowers. At a 3 cost, it starts as a 2/3, but it turns into a 4/5 the next turn, and it is a very good early game card that can allow you to put some pressure on your opponent. And with the number of units that I'm running, hopefully I can kind of stay ahead of what my opponents are trying to do. And for the last card, I've got 3 of Ranger. And I think that Ranger is important in this type of format because big beaters, are just really going to do a lot of work, and I've got the 3 Minotaurs in there too, and it's a good fallback for the late game if you start to kind of peter out, but you've got that 1 Ranger left. He can put away the game pretty quick.
Right, sounds good. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the last deck for this set of beginner decks.
Alright, so for my deck, you'll notice that we have some cards in common, especially seeing as we all chose to run with the Pirates faction. It's very strong, both when you're dealing with rare and below, and when you're unlocking some of the legendaries like Dread Pirate Robins. But the cards I'd like to highlight here are the ranged units. So I've paired it with the Warlock faction so that I can run 3 copies of Wizard, Darkbender, and Southport Captain. And then if you pair that with another feature card, the Dwarven Scope, they have 4 range and can start chipping away at the opponent's castle from a relatively safe position, 2 spaces in front of your own castle. Other than that, the deck runs some global buffs to stay relevant in the late game, a nice curve starting early and running into the higher cost cards, and some light removal that you should try and save for when it's most useful. The witch bolts especially, save them for enemy buildings and ranged high priority units. I hope you have success with it.
All right. And with that, I think that's going to do it for the deck showcase here. Nice little short, sweet, and simple. Again, check the description for the full breakdown of each individual deck. They'll be down there for you guys to enjoy. So, with that being said, I think we're going to jump into some matches now. We're going to take a little bit of a 1v1, so you'll see each deck go against each other. And, you know, not looking for wins and losses here, just kind of showcase how the decks work and see if you guys will maybe enjoy the play styles of these decks. So let's go ahead and jump into those matches right now. Alright, and welcome to the first match of today's video. Of course, we're going to have the Pirate Warlock taking on the Pirate Crusader, Jump versus Vesa, however I want to say it, whatever time of day it is.
So hopefully you've watched
You say however you want.
our last episode with the mulligans, and take a moment and see if you decide what you're going to mulligan and see if it was the same as what I chose. Oh, well, I didn't choose it. Great.
That's what happens when you just talk to it for too long.
Yeah, I would have done these two.
Alright, well, we'll continue the match anyway. No, he's good,
Okay.
he's good.
We're good? Okay.
We're good, don't worry. I mean, Jump's got a starting lumberjack. Everyone loves to see the starting lumberjack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great card to have.
Beautiful little boy to do his merry work. So, Visaya opening up with the miner. Again, pretty standard stuff, especially if you have those 2 gold units, especially to just bring them out in the field, start creating some pressure like Visaya is doing right now. And even with the Knight of Flowers, again, more pressure like his deck likes to do. We're going to see Smith come out, followed up by, I mean, you gotta.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
There is the Fear. Of course, a great card to push back and, of course, get some little draw cycle for you, as you could see from Jump's hand. We'll probably see another... Oh, okay, Armory. That's fair. Or maybe expecting to see another unit, but, I mean, Armory, in all fairness, is a good card, too.
Ooh, that's a great draw.
Ooh, we're going to see White Knight? I just said the card. You might as well play it.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's alright.
I mean, I think that was the right move anyway, pretty much. But now we'll see Visaya probably open up with... Well, I don't know what you'll open up the turn with. I don't know what his hand is looking like.
Yeah. I'm gonna attack.
Oh, well, smack face. I mean, that is the point of the deck, as he mentioned. Again, creating pressure onto the castle a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, just try to get the curve good, you know, good early game, and then some late beaters is kind of the point of the deck.
Right. So we'll see how Jump responds. He has some options here. Or really, he's going to go for the 1. Try not to spoil the hand here, but you'll see him contemplate that particular card, the obviously, which again I think is the right move to go for, and even then goes for the White Knight removal as well. So keeping global buffs alive, that signifies their importance in matches. You kind of want to keep these buffs alive because they're going to have much more meaning as you get into the game. And of course, the more of them you have, the better off you'll be in. And you'll see as the match progresses. Now that Jump's got 2 blacksmith. Following
Yeah,
up
and I
with...
was happy to see that White Knight go, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's a big boy. Although, like we mentioned, I mean, yeah, we got the... Oh boy, what are you gonna do, Joe?
I'm just coming I'm coming full pressure. I put my faithful Drake in a more vulnerable position because I just feel like I've got a bunch of damage on board. Yep, and
there is the direct removal out of Pirates, which is a common feature amongst all of the decks here. Execution, a great card to kind of remove some big threats off of the board. You want to keep your face clean sometimes of that pesky stuff. Oh boy.
That's
Oh
dirty.
no.
there's the finisher right there.
And that is going to be the finisher. Of course, reason why, for those of you who might be unaware of why this is the finisher, no matter what Jump does, that Cannoneer will have a clean shot to end the game. And are we going to see it? Are we going to see the big boy end the game? We certainly are. He did it in such a graceful way that I cannot begin to comprehend. Overall, though,
Gotta
good
wonder
match.
if the mulligan would have changed things.
Hey, look, I tried to give you the chance on that, man.
Oh yeah,
You
it's
missed
fine.
the mulligan, and my opening hand was, exactly where I wanted it to.
Yeah.
All right, but with one match down, there's still two more to go. So let's go ahead and jump into the next match right now.
See, that those are two cards that you can auto include in any pirate deck.
Oh, my lumberjack is gone. How could you do this to me?
And you'll notice I positioned on the top side of that rat, of the lumberjack, sorry. And that's because I know RedMaster's hovel is going to spawn below. So if he didn't have a second lumberjack to clear it out, my 3 damaging unit will have a stronger way to deal with it. Or will be able to deal more damage to another unit that he spawns. Hope I explained
And
that all
also,
right.
if he would have missed a drop on that turn, you were in position to actually take out the.
Yeah.
And now you see the armory come out, and that allows the lumberjack to not have to trade with the rat. He's got to send another one out there to actually finish the job on that.
But I am okay with that. I will send my rat into its destruction because now I can freely set up the cannoneer that I've got thanks to the additional ramp that Jump gave me. Very thankful for
And
that.
we see Jump with he's now got 5 cards to RedMaster's 6, and he also has the cannoneer on board.
Oh god damn it.
And now
Oh.
we're gonna see the removal come in, and with the fear, that's going to essentially put that cannoneer just completely out of commission. It's not going to impact the game at this point.
Jump, why would you do this to me?
So it's a strong combo there. The reason I feared is because now it'll make sure that the cannoneer is out of range to attack, and on his next turn, he will surely die with the next tick of the bleed. And with Red's cannoneer gone, I'll bring out my own
Absolutely not.
and start to push my other units. This rat here is saying if Red wants to challenge it, he's going to have to come within range of my cannoneer's safe zone.
And Jump's put himself into a very good position right here. Red's going to need a strong counter, and here it comes with the mercenary execution.
You love to see execution at the right time.
Yeah, so right here, I'm going to put myself in a very similar position as close as we can, and opt for slightly weaker unit, but it's my next best option, and we'll see if Red can deal with it again.
Right, and Red has taken it out eventually, and that's gonna help out a lot. And the great thing about the onslaught is, in addition to causing the bleed and the -1/-1, you get that draw off of it.
I was hoping to aim for
And
a
it's a very strong card to.
That's fine.
Right.
It's fine. We're still in this one. Yeah, and he's gonna have to sack that Dark Bender now, run it all the way up for me to get rid of. I mean, granted, it is dealing damage to my face, which I don't appreciate, but hey, I'm still in it.
Yeah, Jump took the right play. He knows his Dark Bender will be gone next turn, so he did the only thing that he could do with it, and went ahead and took the damage. to the castle. All right, so now we see Swordsman, which is another very strong later game card to use when you're restricted to only, commons and rares. And now we see this card red highlighted, Freezing Pillar, and that's going to give him time to actually deal with this threat that Jump's laid down.
There we go. I think I did a good job in prolonging the swordsman.
Yeah. And since Red had the temple, it was good to go ahead and strike the Dark Bender, even though, that card was already toast. Next turn, he got to deal an extra damage to the swordsman. And
Oh,
the pillar is
Steve.
going to be easily taken care of, but it did buy Red a turn to take care of the threat that Jump laid down previously.
Yep, my chain just keeps on working. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yep. And we've seen a lot of really good plays made by removal cards this game, and that's a very important aspect into your deck building, to balance your units with good removal cards.
Now, you'll notice that I'm spacing out my units in a sort of a grid pattern to avoid getting affected too much by the Viking chain lightning.
Absolutely, and that's something that you always have to take into account when you see the Vikings on the other side. Even if they don't have the chain lightning buildings or units already in effect, it's something you always need to be aware of, is they can drop that at any time, and your bunched up units are just going to be toast.
Now I'm just thinking here what to do on my side. I don't know what Jump's looking like, but I think I'm in a pretty okay spot right about now. I freezed off both the Swordsman and the Elvish Thief. He's going to have to find some way to remove the pillar if he wants to release those units from their cryostasis. Big boy fancy word there. Or just kill off the barbarian again. Why do you do
And
this?
Jump had a lot of options that turn, and I think it was a good play to just, let the freezing pillar stay for an extra turn. Even though it's locking his units up, he was able to remove that barbarian and set himself up for later turns.
Yeah, it's great to always plan ahead, at least one turn ahead. So try and predict what your opponent's going to do and how you would react to that play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
well,
not where the
that's...
Dagger Storm wanted. Or not
Yeah,
where I wanted it
the
to go.
Dagger Storm, just hit 3 all on Swordsman. I think Red was really trying to get the Dark Bender to bleed on that turn, and that was just,
I mean, now I know the
kind of
Swordsman is
unlucky.
gone next turn. He effectively can't use this Swordsman anymore. So that's my takeaway from that turn.
That was true. Right.
Yeah, that's the plus side for sure.
But now I do need to start making an effort to push that castle. I am down in health, so sudden death would be more in Jump's favor personally. So hopefully I can make my heroic charge to the castle somewhat soon. Please, just let me in, Jump.
It's like
alright.
Oh, yeah. It'll sacrifice
The
one.
second rat hovel come up. He's not going to be able to spawn actually the 2 rats this next turn, because Darkbender is actually blocking one of the paths.
Yeah, it's not ideal placement, but sacrificing 1 rat is not the end of the world. So I'm willing to take that.
Right. So the placement to you was more important than the extra rat.
Right, getting it out 1 turn early rather than waiting until next turn, where I would have lost a rat by waiting a turn anyway.
We'll let the bleed finish you off on that one. I could have shot the Cannoneer, but I knew the bleed was going to take him out, so, you take what you can get.
Yeah.
And I'm getting close. I want to feed on that castle you got over there, my boy.
Red's got a lot of pressure on the board. Let's see how Jump responds to this.
I mean, just
He has a couple different options here.
uh-oh. What do you mean he has options? I don't like that. Just let me consume the castle. How about that?
Well, this is a tricky a tricky spot for Jump. It's a very crucial turn.
That is
Yeah,
true.
gotta weigh my
Red's
options
putting
carefully.
Red's putting a lot of pressure up on the castle right now.
Oh, and there's the favorite timer. Or that happens.
So
Okay.
yeah, Jump decided to go with the Dwarven Scope play. I think he made the right decision. Now, the Southport can still hit the
Yeah,
Ranger and take it out right here.
that's
Oh
scary.
wow. Yeah, and Red's coming up big right here.
I need that castle
I
health,
I
boy.
would
Give me the castle.
yeah, I would say Red has put himself into a very good position with that last turn.
Oh, armory. Oh, there goes Elvish Thief.
And right now it's just that Southport Cannoneer is just a huge blockade right now for Jump.
Right. So I'm happy defending, seeing as I am ahead,
Right.
for now at
Exactly.
least,
Hmm.
until the board truly flips.
He's out here making threats, boys and girls. He's gonna destroy my castle.
So
Now
especially
we're
during
at the
sudden
point of the
death.
game where both of us are working off the card draw, which
Exactly.
it could be truly anyone's game.
Yeah, the game can turn quick when you both get 2 cards per turn. So what Jump has decided to do here is just stay back as much as he can and trust his deck and trust his draws. And Red's kind of moved up aggressively with the Southport Cannoneer. It can get hit by this rat, but that's just not enough to take it out.
Right. He
So
doesn't have. He
now
doesn't have
Jump's
the.
gonna see what he can draw.
He doesn't have the clearance to take me out on the board. At least I don't think. I mean, I don't know what he drew. Don't know what he drew. Well, the important thing is to not leave the units in that position. Hello, rats. How we doing? There's a lot of you on this board, and I don't like that. Oh, and I don't like you even more. Okay. Hmm. So yeah, this range is going to be a bit problematic for me because it is as I just mentioned, he is a big boy. Alright, Faithful Drake as well. Alright. Okie dokie. Moves to make, plays to conduct. First things first, we
And
gotta clear off these rats. Too many rats.
I'm not sure Jump had a lot of options right there on that play. I think in this kind of situation, you want to push as much as you can. And we'll just have to see what Red comes up with. And he's willing to play a little bit more defensively right now. He knows that in that position, Southport Captain can still hit face.
Um, I want to start neutralizing those rats.
Yeah, it's tricky with rats spawning each turn. That's why we're all opting to include them in our decks here.
Yes, now you could see from the early game how crucial these rats have been up to the present time. So important to kind of note here that Hovel is a very dangerous card because it can affect all points in the game with how rats can spawn, any buffs they might get, the damage they can do. All those points are pretty important to note.
Right. And this game, I think, was really decided, you know, by the rats, by the global buffs, and by the removal. There's been a lot of changes of advantage here in this game. I think it's been a very good game to showcase, you know, what these decks can do and how powerful a deck can be that's built just on commons and rares.
Right.
And overall, you know, I think this has been a really good showcase.
Whoa! Well, that's rude.
All right, so Jump's going to come down with his own Southport, and with health getting this low, I can't see Red's hand, but you know, I think I see a play.
Right. So towards the end of the game, I'm threatening deal with my Southport Cannoneer, or else I will end the game. So it's
Red happens
forcing
to
him
have
to make a move that will limit his options. Now Red pulls out a couple of scopes of his
Yep.
own. It's scary.
right, and
The chain
both of
lightning
you
putting
guys,
in work.
yeah, that temple play turned
Oh,
out to be
I didn't
really
think
big when
that
he first
turn.
played it. Yeah, when Red first played the temple, I was a little bit skeptical. Like, I didn't think that maybe he didn't have like a good unit to play that turn, and I was a little bit worried on his behalf for that. But you know, that temple's been absolutely huge in getting him into the position that he's in right now.
Right, and I am threatening lethal here in a lot of different directions. Jump's gonna need something big to kind of wipe this board. Okay.
All right, so we see the Witch Bolt come out, and that just goes back to, you know, the importance of the removal.
Oh.
And now he does take out the Southport.
Oh, no.
Now we're back. I mean, this is a close one, guys. I can't see Red's hand, but this is a close one.
Right. It would take a mercenary's execution to take me out, but now with that headless horseman, I know that Red doesn't have the
manpower to
gold to
stop
do it,
this.
and
Yep, and
he has to
it looks
block
like
off 2 squares in front of his castle to stop off this white knight, since it has that extra range.
Yeah, I think I'm
And
not in the
looks
best
like Jump's gonna
position.
come away with this one.
yeah, it's a close game, but an eventual victory. But it's very, very close. It could have gone either way
Yeah,
many different times.
absolutely. Yeah, this has been a good one. There's been a lot of back and forth going on.
I needed the horseman to hit castle to maybe end it off in sudden death.
That could have been a lucky ending for you
Could
to
have
get
been. Could
that.
have been.
Could have been. And Jump knows what he needs to do, and we're gonna see this one end.
Yep. Oh, he
And with
took
the
that
sudden death,
approach. I thought he was just gonna come and smack it. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, I
No,
know
yeah,
that
you're
the
good. You're good.
sudden death will kill it in the next turn. So
Yeah, yeah, you're good. You're good.
before, even against a Crusaders deck with healing, sudden death will tick before they have a chance to do anything,
so
unless there's a church. The church
we
always
see
heals first.
a 2-0 castle health victory for Jump on that one.
Very close though.
All right.
All right. We still have one more match to play though, so let's go ahead and bring you to that one right now.
All right, welcome back to the third game. This time, Jump on the commentator's mic. and we're seeing the game from RedMaster's perspective. So again, hopefully you did your mulligan guessing before
Oh, I did
Red.
that one. I did that one. Don't worry. I'm good.
Hopefully before Red swapped his away. That way you can compare and see if you would have chosen the same thing as he did. Always a good thing to do if you're watching the Cards.tv replays and check. Predict what you think the players will do, and then see if they actually do it. If they did, that means it was probably a good play, assuming you're watching a strong player. If not, ask what the reason was behind why the other player made a different play.
I love how my face cam is on, so I can pretty much point out like the right, like I'm commentating along with you, with my hands and not my mouth. Oh boy.
All right. So at the development of this game, we're seeing RedMaster develop with the classic combo that just won the last game. It's the Rat Hovel plus Armory combo, and it'll spawn units, but not only 1/1s anymore, they're going to be 2/2s, and as he brings out more global buffs, they're going to become even stronger. On the other hand, Vesevin has developed a card advantage by using the flying books to draw himself more cards, and has followed that up with an armory to make them stronger as well. So we'll have to see how each player uses that advantage to grow even further.
Oh, I'm gonna just keep going on with the buildings.
Yeah, RedMaster is seeing that he
Yeah.
can keep developing an even stronger advantage from his side by just playing passively and waiting until he has a unkillable army of rats. Especially knowing that the Pirates and Crusaders faction combo that he's playing against is often struggles to deal with large swarms of units. It doesn't have too much in the ways of area damage. So
Yeah,
he's gonna.
I feel behind right now for sure.
Yeah.
We got to take out that books. Personally, I could have done the onslaught on the barbarian, but the books is threatening a lot more than the barbarian is right now. That's why we're gonna take.
When you devote a lot of your money on previous turns to building up some buildings, they don't actually have the instant gratification that a unit does. They can't attack, so you have to deal with immediate threats in other ways, such as the removal.
A lot of this game is, board position, and there's a big guy to counter my big guy.
Big guy,
Right, yeah.
bash,
No,
big guy. Ugh.
It's very important to look at board position because in other card games that are out there on the market now, you've got lots of back and forth, but it doesn't have that positioning element where you can gain an advantage just by having a better position on the board. It really brings a unique twist to a card game. And a player who positions really well can bring up some games that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to win just by
that's a nice
having
spread.
stronger units or
That is a spread and a half,
Alright.
my guy.
So we're seeing
I got 'em
Vesvin
all.
has
Piss.
established a bunch of global buffs of his own, but he doesn't have the units quite yet
Oh, he might get it
to
soon
be able
with the
to
hovel.
fully use them. So he's opted this turn to summon the hovel, which will spawn units indefinitely until it's killed, and some other cheap units. generally, if you can, it's better to spawn a bunch of cheap units with global buffs than it is to spawn one expensive one, because the cheap units will each benefit from the buff. So having what's that card name? Three Filthy Peasants.
Rally.
That's called, yeah, Rally the Town. It will, if we look at Vesivin's board, for example, a Rally the Town costing 5 will summon 3 Filthy Peasants, which are each 2/2, but then they'll each get 2/2 more, so that's 3 4/4s, or 12 and 12 worth of stats. Or, instead, a strong statted unit such as Grendel with the same cost will come out normally as a 6/7 or an 8/9 with the 2 armories. So you can see how stacking the global buffs really multiplies its benefit. That's also why I opted in my deck to include Rally the Town over Grendel.
I don't
All right,
like that
back to the
temple
game.
being up there right
No, you
now.
don't.
We're seeing the importance of something that we haven't touched on yet, but that we've all included in our decks, which is ranged units. So we spoke a little bit about the importance of positioning, but ranged units really command that board presence and make it really hard for melee units to
Oh crap,
get
big
into a
guy.
position that can counter it. A lot of these plays will revolve around where to place their range units and where to place the melee units to counter those. So in this turn, Vesivin has put his ranged unit, or his melee unit, off to the side, basically telling RedMaster that if he wants to deal with it and kill it off, it is possible, but he'll have to sacrifice a couple turns to do it, moving his good positioning over to bad positioning and then back to his good positioning. So let's see how RedMaster decides he's going to go about doing that. He's going to deploy another global buff, and that's enough to deal with the threats.
Oh boy, I've made my big boy scary, but that might not last too long. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
The
Mercenaries
way that Vesa
Execution.
laughed at my scope means that I'm in for some deep shit, boys.
It's such a strong card because, well, you might not always get to use it on a high cost unit. If there is a global buff that's played on a unit, or even a few global buffs, then taking it out with one fell swoop, no counterplay needed. It can give you quite the advantage.
Oof, well done, well done.
So Vesvin is able to spawn, we could call it side spawning. Any unit that spawns an adjacent unit can attack one square further along, and is a great tool to have to counter exactly what just happened with RedMaster's ranged unit positioning in that square. So we're going to see how this, now that we've gotten into the late game, how is it going to end up? At this point in the game, each player is getting 10 gold every turn. And the games can swing very quickly with that much money per turn.
And that Minotaur is a
it's
big
still-
chonker. Oh god, big chonkers, bro, they're everywhere.
Still going toe-to-toe every time. You'll notice that to maintain an advantage here, neither player has yet attacked the castle. So they're just trying to get the advantage first, and then drive it home once they're an unstoppable force.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, so the mistake here, we'll see if red takes advantage of it. Esvin's thought process was that he would have such a big board that RedMaster wouldn't be able to stop it entirely and just push through the range units with health. But there we can see the mistake. Instead of RedMaster having to attack the ranger with his swordsman and have it die, he instead is able to hit the rat and get the same full effect.
Am I gonna lose that swordsman though? Is the
I've been,
question.
I've been playing from behind. I've been playing from behind this whole game. So yeah,
That's why
I
cleave is not a
don't.
ability to be underestimated, boys and girls.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I do not see myself coming back from this one.
Alright, so now we're gonna put the piece de la resistance onto the board here.
There it is, and
I don't have
as
another chain to make that prettier. Oh, well, shit. I should
as
have
you may
probably
have
done
seen in
this.
past games,
I wouldn't have done anything.
yeah. So as you may have seen in past games of yours, having a swordsman right next to a castle is so strong because if it is to be hit by a melee unit, it will swing and hit the castle a second time on a defensive turn.
Just like that.
Just like that, and
There
that
go all the
concludes the
buildings.
game.
I think, right? Yep, there they go.
Yeah.
Whew, alright. Another intense back and forth for sure. I mean, listen, boys and girls, global buffs, they be scary and they be big. That's pretty much, the point of these games. Global buffs are very scary things.
Right, and I think it's an excellent way to end the series too, because each one of our decks got one victory and one
We're
loss.
all 1-1. Yeah, good job, guys.
Um, well,
Shows a little bit of a rock paper scissors effect between games.
effect, and all three decks are quite competitive with each other. There's no dominant one of the three. You can pick the one that you think will suit your playstyle the best, and it will work quite well.
Right.
Yeah, and just because we all chose pirates, that doesn't mean that if you're running, a deck without access to as many cards that you have to choose pirates. We just all individually came to the conclusion, that that's what we thought was strong, and decided to play that.
Right. Now, it's important to note as well the neutral cards that we chose that can be used for all factions. I'm going to just highlight them again quickly. The Lumberjack, Blacksmith, Armory, Wizard, and any others, the Northlands Ranger and Swordsman as well. All of those are very strong individual cards. You just need to make sure that you're not overcrowding any specific gold costs, such as having too many low cost units or too many high cost units that can really give you some troubles.
Right. For sure.
And I think it's important to focus. I think your early cards are, it's important to have early cards and late cards, but if you don't, establish the board early, then your late cards aren't going to matter anyways.
Right.
So, it's very important to establish an early game and think about, especially, the 3-4s and some 2s also. That's just a very important aspect of deck building.
Right. Right. But yeah, overall, great matches and a great time with you gentlemen on today's video. So with that being said, guys, I think now is going to be a good point to close off this video. Alright folks, with that being said, I hope you did enjoy this special little CNC beginner deck video. Again, thanks to Jump and Vesivan for coming on here, helping me showcase some decks, and helping me do a couple of matches. Well, either way, helping me, helping us, helping all of us here. I think that's a good way to describe it. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, share with your friends, of course, comment down below your thoughts on not only the decks, but the matches themselves. Let us know if you guys end up using these decks yourself. Let us know how things go. And of course, like I said, full breakdown for the decks will be in the description below. It's actually going to be the link to join us here on Discord, so you can of course jump into the community, say hello to a couple of current top 100 players, and of course these guys are here too. And yeah, anything that you guys have to add? Jump.
Right. Feel free when you come to the Discord, you'll find the deck breakdowns in the deck showcase channel. But feel free to ask us individually if you have further questions, and we can provide you with further insight.
Right. And Vesa, any last words from you?
Definitely. Just thanks for watching, guys, and exactly what Jump said. You get on the Discord and ask any kind of questions you have. There's people like me and Jump and Red and a bunch of others. We're more than willing, to help you out any way that we can.
Right. And with that, before we do sign off this video, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done this already. Best way that you can support us here on the channel. Leave a subscribe. Show us that you're supporting us and helping us grow what we love to do here. So, with that being said, guys, until next time, stay gaming.